Well, good day all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your Spider ETF stock market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Monday, the 13th of May, 2024. 2 more weeks for Memorial Day. I was just looking that up. Remember, it's the last Monday of the month. I'm so used to, I'm older. I'm so used to it being the 30th, 31st, right in that time frame. But that's not how it's worked anymore. So mark that down on your calendar. All the markets will be closed on that day. We're at a very important crux in the market, and I don't think it's being given enough importance. You have PPI tomorrow, you have CPI and retail sales on Wednesday. I think these are important reports. The market has been hanging in the stock market, up at territory that is close to the all-time highs. Yeah, the Dow backed off today, but after 7 or 8 days in a row up, why not? It can afford to do that. The question is, do we get reports that spur the market into thinking, yes, rate cuts are here? Do we get reports that spur the market into saying, no, we're stuck with the sticky inflation, where does it go? And what about one more element that can happen in the market? What if you come in with really strong reports? Could that get the Fed going to the upside? You got to think that through. Another event happened today. The roaring kitty came back, Mr. Gill. And we haven't heard from him in a couple of years. And all of a sudden, as he came back, GameStop explodes, AMC explodes, anything that's heavily shorted. The game is they're going to go after those traders. Wall Street at first said, these guys, what can they do? Well, when you get all these investors, and I'm talking retail, ganging up on you in many ways because the following he has is monstrous, things take off. He didn't have to say anything more than put out a picture today where he'd been sitting in a chair like this, and then he bent forward, which means he's looking at things. And with that, the meme, remember, M-E-M-E is meme, the meme stocks exploded to the upside. So he's joined the game again. And that means when you look at these heavily shorted stocks, don't get crazed. I mean, AMC going up $2.50 today is not based on reality. It's based on short covering in the market, and people that want to get out can get out. Once they see this, they get nervous. And CNBC did a great explanation. They were watching some of these really heavily shorted stocks, and there's been call option accumulation over the past couple of days. So they suspect something was building. I don't know enough about it to say it was or wasn't, but I'm aware it's here. And when anything's always so heavily shorted, that's it. Now, if these companies are smart, they take advantage if their prices get up high enough to do things. Remember the last time this happened in AMC? It went up to 40. Go look at my tapes on it. I said, this is the most fabulous shorting opportunity. I said, this company, it's only up because of the short covering. Well, if it goes up dramatically again, I will tell you the same thing. I can tell you that right now. How they can stay in business other than diluting you down if you buy that stock is beyond me. So we'll see. They'll do it either via notes, they'll do it via stock, eroding you, just the way that it is. So be careful here. That's the way those things go. So tomorrow what we have is you've got the National Federation of Independent Business at 5 in the morning. It gets a little attention, but not market moving. This will get a lot of attention. The April Producer Price Index, that'll come out, and traders will extrapolate from that what they think the CPI is going to do tomorrow. I write about that tonight in my full research report. I give you what the reports are, not the estimates here. Redbook Group will update their retail sales data at 7:55. It's been running in the neighborhood of 5% growth. And API will come out with their member stockpiles tomorrow afternoon around 3:30. And oil's been climbing today. And the reason is Israel's now hitting in Gaza from the north and the south. The Houthis have again said nothing's going by them. It's really simple. And Hezbollah has already told the people in Israel that's boarding with them on Lebanon that they should make other plans for their kids' school, because if this war goes on, they're going to keep bombing. that whole area there, and the people will not be able to safely return. So this gives you an idea where you're at. Qatar is debating, should they throw out Hamas? You know, there's plenty of countries that'll take Hamas. So you don't have to worry about it. Do I think they should? It's a pro and a con. They're a very good conduit, Qatar, for Western countries that want to talk with them because they want to be friends with Western countries. So are we better off with the Hamas there? Are we better off in the Turkey? There's different areas. They can go to Syria, of course. Damascus is waiting for them. That won't be so friendly. So there's many different things that you have to deal with. So please keep that in the back of your mind. Now, today was auto stock day because GM was at one point up really nice. It gave it all up at the end of the day. Tesla tried to rally here to 175.40, gave up the majority of it. I was watching today, Fisker got a lifeline for a small period of time. Rivian was up about 90 cents on the day. So, you know, once again, you can bounce at any number, but you haven't changed the game. And that brings me to my fear of what's going to happen with PPI and CPI. Obviously, weakness will be in the short term very bullish these stock indices. Stagflation, and that's a possibility where CPI just hangs in here and PPI because you've got sticky inflation. I don't think that's very friendly. And certainly a pair of strong numbers, I think that takes you away from a September hope that you're going to get a rate cut. I think it sort of starts closing the door big time on that. And that's a different game. So what do you do with the market for the year? One of the things we know is corporations have been doing good. So you're fighting the making of money with the idea that there's a slowness coming if you get the weakness that many people are anticipating in this. And the other stories are higher for longer or higher period on interest rates. Yeah, another hike. And that can't be friendly, in my opinion, the stock market. Something that we hadn't covered in a long time are these gambling stocks, so I just picked MGM. No real reason. I had a better play on Home Depot, a better play, if you will, on eBay, but I wanted to do one of these. Obvious to me was the spike up and down. It started with this down move that was like an exhaustion. You exploded the next day, and you're trading at about 50% of that range. That's the obvious thing. The pattern is one of higher lows and higher highs. When you look at all the moving averages, you have the 100-day in the green, the 200-day in the gray, you see that, and the 18-day in the red. Well, this is called a bear market rally because what the market did is, number one, and pay attention, it hit the Bollinger Band, and I teach the first time you hit a Bollinger Band, especially if you're not embedded, the pros typically take money off the table. Now, I wish I could tell you it's all the money that they've had bet on the short side, a part of the money. I don't know that. What I know is that they should do that because 95% of the time you trade within the band. So when you get out of it, you don't stay out of it very long. Do all markets go against that rule at some point? Absolutely. But the way that they typically do it, there's a telltale sign normally. You will get very narrow in the band. The longer the band goes narrow, the ultimate bigger move. In this particular case, you narrowed in. It wasn't very long. It was over a week. And then it started pushing on the Bollinger Band. We'll discuss that in a minute. But this doesn't have that narrow band. This is just a bounce right now, to me, in a bearish market. You can see how the markets come up. Now, remember, they are going to get the F1 racing again this year in Vegas, so that's a big money maker. You can see the momentum here. Now, when this occurred, we instantly got embedded. Do you see that? We got first over the 80 level, and then both numbers locked in immediately. Embedded up or down is the strongest signals I know. When you embed it here and it locked in, the strongest signals I know. When you lose the embedded, you get these corrections, and that's what typically happens. Does it always work this way? I wish I could tell you everything in life is always. Does it work this way most of the time? Overwhelming, but not all the time. Do we understand that? Okay. In eBay, eBay's just rocking and rolling. If you watch the momentum, you can actually see the trade. Got up, made a slight challenge of the upper band, didn't hit it, came down for the lower band within 72 hours, bounced away, and that's what you're doing. It's back and forth just like that. But I'm going to repeat. First challenge of the Bollinger Band, not embedded situation. Pros covered. How much? I don't know. Tesla. So what we had here is a bull market break. So we had a break within a bullish market. Now, why is it a bull market? Because it's over the 18-day average of closes. To me, you need a line on a chart that gives you a demarcation. Am I bullish or bearish? It's a filter. It's not by itself. Oh, it's over the market, I'm buying it. Under the market, I'm selling it. It's a filter of other signals. So the fact that you got sell signals with lower highs, lower lows, tells you like this, come to me. And the market went there. And now it has to decide what is the next part. When we come to FCX, we've got higher lows, higher highs. You can see the upper Bollinger Band is a problematic area. I'm sorry for that my phone going off there. As you can see what the market is doing right here, fighting with itself, but it's sideways action. It is not a trend action. It is sideways action. You do see that, I hope. So we can say that it had been in an uptrend. Absolutely. We can now say that the market is deciding, is there another level to the upside, or is the market ready to say, that's it, I'm ready to come out to the downside? So far, who's in control? The bulls. The trend is up, the bias is up. You went up today, hit the upper Bollinger Band again. Last time you did it, you fell right back through here. What's this market prepping itself for, and why is it moving back and forth? PPI and CPI. Is the dollar going to get stronger, weaker? Which way is this going to be headed? That's very much on the market's minds, in my opinion, right now. You're overbought at the upper band. I think the pros took money off the table. When we come to gasoline, here you are down. And I wrote tonight what AAA had done, that they were going to set records, they claim, on driving in modern times. It's just going to go crazy. People are going to hit the road for Memorial Day like you can't see. But we haven't seen any rise in the gasoline price. So I got caught, and I don't mind telling you this, back here. And I walked away, haven't had a position since then, and done myself a service. I know that you typically get the demand. The problem is that gasoline's now getting orders placed so that the stations have it as all these people hit the road. We should get a bounce in the market, but with an embedded reading, I'll miss the trade. In XLF, what we have in financial services has been the bets that the economy is strong. Number two, interest rates don't have to go higher. And for tomorrow, the bet tomorrow and Wednesday is that's how it's going to stay, and that helps the banks. Frankly, the longer interest rates stay up, it's a two-pronged part. One part, you got to pay more money to keep your depositors with you. The other part is you earn more money if you're in the lending business. So it's both parts. You got to look at how it impacts you. Are we embedding? Remember what embedding is. It means both numbers are over the 80 level at least 3 sessions in a row. So first, let's go now one back. Friday, both over. And day before, both over, not the day before. So they're embedded. So if it loses that with the red line closing under 79, I think you get back here, wherever that 18-day average comes in. As long as that doesn't occur on breaks, I think the trade will buy. There's a key moving average I use for that. I show that in my morning subscriber videos in both the ETFs and the futures, and I walk you through that each time. When I take a look at XLI, it's doing the same type of thing. So we can see both numbers were over 80. Is it going to let me take it? I don't know why it's not. No. I'll come back to it one time. Sometimes you got to do that. So here we are Monday. Here we are Tuesday, both over. And what about the day before? Not. You're just overbought. overbought against the Bollinger Band on all these days. I think the pros, I wouldn't be adding money in an overbought market. Now, RSPD, what is the consumer doing? Wednesday, you're going to have an idea with U.S. retail sales. So you can bet all you want. You can give me all the philosophy you want. If they're not spending, the consumer's not doing as well. Really that simple. We know they're moving to lower price items. We know they are being more selective in their buying. We have seen Home Depot and others get beaten up recently as prices have been sinking. As I said, just think of the logic. This is not the year that you're coming out of the pandemic. This is the year where life is normal. The past 2 years before this, you had to worry about the pandemic, what was getting to be a normal. Now we're there, all right? Very big difference in everything. And so where are they? Well, they're using their money on services. But have you looked at the price of dining? Example to you. McDonald's wants to go to a $5 value meal, and they'll probably do it if they can get Coca-Cola to subsidize it with them in the franchises. But you bring the people in, but what happens 30 days later? You're back to a $15 to $18 value meal? I don't understand the logic is my problem. I understand what they're saying, but who doesn't know McDonald's? So what is the purpose other than bringing them in for that 30 days on a special? I'm probably not the brightest marketing guy, but I don't get it, okay? So we'll see if that all works out. It'd be one thing if you're telling me they are cutting prices and they have figured out how to make a $5 value meal. The lines will be around the corner. That's not what they're saying. And XHB, higher lows, higher highs, and look at, you have a big outside data to the downside. I thought you would have trouble here, and I've said it every day, and I am the bull for the home buyers. So don't start saying, you have not been. Oh, I have been for a very long time. Even when you were down here, I said, they know how to buy down mortgages. I've said it to you over and over. I played that game when I was a younger guy, and you just got ahead of yourself. But why not? They could get hit on strong PPI CPIs because the rates can climb again on that. Boom. So a little bit down in front. Smart money taking off the smart taking money off the table. XLE, all I was looking for was a bear market rally. Now, I'll get bullish in this market if you can close over, first, if you can get over 94.86 and get a strong close, then over 94.31. That'll get me friendly the market. Let's see at the point it does it. You don't have a sell signal, but again, a bear market rally as you've had this downward move under the 18-day average of closes. GLD. I think that gold is a long-term buy still. Why? Because I don't buy into the idea that inflation is going to fall easy. I love to see the dollar drop a bit. I'd love to see that CPI eases slowly with PPI, and that gives me the story for gold to go even higher. So I am definitely long-term in the gold camp and talking about that in my morning reports, by the way. In SLV, not too overbought. I like gold better here than this. This has been a much stronger chart. The gold-silver ratio has favored the silver all the way through this over the gold market, so don't make mistakes about that. It's just that you're late in the game. Copper market. So why did copper soar today in the futures? Let me think about it. Anglo-American got another set of bids for its copper. So what's happening, their business is they're getting higher and higher bids. It's like up to a 42.7 billion bid that I'm sure they're going to turn and say no to. But this is valuing what these reserves from this company are basically worth, and that keeps kicking copper up. In addition, you do have a Chinese market that has a bit of action. I am not saying their property sector's anywhere okay. I am not, in fact, the opposite. I don't see that. But they are seeing more business in the factories. They're doing a bit more. They're going to get hit with big tariffs by the United States, but so what? When's the last time you saw a BYD automobile on the road in America? There are none. Where can you get it serviced? You can't. So it's not going to happen. All right, so the president, in his beautiful wisdom, can quadruple the tariff. There are none here. Nobody's going to buy them because you can't get them serviced. You can't even, there's no dealerships. So end of that discussion. You can bring one in for the novelty. Who's going to set it up for you? I mean, and who can read the manual? I mean, I imagine there are Chinese private shops that can do it, but they're not going to be under factory warranty as I understand it. Solar panels. He's going to do that. Okay. I think that really hurts us because solar energy, renewable energy, we need. But he's going to protect the American interest as to how we make it. Okay. How many Tesla roofs, those roofs that were going to be renewable energy, have you seen in your neighborhood put up? For most of you, how many of you live in a neighborhood with solar energy? I can imagine if you're in rural areas, you can do it. But in the city, suburbs, your neighbors will go crazy if you start taking your house and put all those panels on it. Just reality of the situation right now. Tesla had the right idea, Musk, taking your roofing and making it look like a natural roof, and it does that. The cost is just not worked out. Higher lows, higher highs on TLT. Well, this is going to be directly impacted over the next 48 hours by what these reports do. So you can do what you want there, as will the dollar. The dollar's either going up or down, can spike on you either way based on surprises or no surprises in these reports. The flip-flop will be FXE. So you put it together, and that's the game you have. Now, I'll be with you first thing in the morning for the futures markets tomorrow at 6 a.m. recording about all this. And then for the PPI, I'll be into the ETF trade talking to you at 9 a.m. about it. So first thing I do, I talk fundamentals, technical analysis, and we put up on our website, these are where the videos are in the member login area. Now, when you click this, there's also a pull. So there's a bar here, and if you pull it, it lights up and tells you what sections you're in of the video. And I do everything in sections so that you can see what it looks like. A typical chart's going to look like this. Yes, it has a lot more lines than you see here, and that's because I give you a lot more, and I show you exactly what I do in my charting courses, and I reinforce. You're going to get 40-plus futures charts. I swing between daily and weekly, doing the same, stock, spider, and ETF, and I do rotate them. Access to special reports. I've been dying to do a new special report. I'll probably do one tomorrow that impacts the futures markets. I'm debating right now, but I'm going to do one somewhere tomorrow because PPI will be out. And then CPI, I'll end up doing another one the day after. So I'm going to try to get 2 done this week. Trade recommendations, points of entry, exit, profit objectives, and of course, stops. Okay, got to have stops, how you come out of a market one way or the other. Go to iraepstein.com research. This is where everything's at, or click up here. I'll hope to see you in the morning when you join me in those morning videos. You have a great day, and they are recording, so you can come in at any time, but I'm telling you the time I start recording, and they're posted slightly afterwards. You take care.